Hey folks, and welcome to this video. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the supply and demand software. It's going to show you an update that's coming and talk about an update that's just been released, actually about a week ago. I published this in the Discord server, so if you haven't yet updated, you can do that, or you can wait until I push this update out. So the first update that came out about a week and a half ago actually is the automatic Slingshot Mode. Okay, and so what the software is doing now, it's looking at a setting in here called Max Distribution Accumulation. If I can find that, here it is, Max Acc Dist. Okay, and it's looking at the area of accumulation and distribution that you can see here. And if the number of bars within that distribution accumulation exceeds the value specified here, then it's automatically going to place the entry at the upper edge of this area, in this case of supply, because it's assuming that the liquidity in the area has thinned out because price has spent an extended amount of time in that area, which it has. If you look at this, price has been trading through this area for quite a long time, and so we want our entry to be at the upper edge of this. Okay, and so if we look at this here and we put this to 5, what it does is it says, we don't have more than 5 bars here, because looking at this one, and I think, yeah, these two here, and it's looking at these and it's saying, okay, we only have 2 here, and so we can put the box at that area of distribution. But if you change that and you say, well, actually we want it to be quite different, we want it to only take the areas of where is it? Here. Supply and demand that have a very limited amount of trading time at a specific area of distribution and accumulation, or then it moves the entry much higher. So now the entry for this position would be where the stop loss of the previous position was, which is I really like that, and that works very, very well. And so this is now built in to the software, so there will be no Boolean or enable, disable Slingshot Mode, because this is done automatically now. Okay, so that's the update that was released about a week and a half ago. Then there's a new update that I'm currently working on that I'm not quite finished with, and this is the alarms. And I think the alarms are really cool. You can see it just here, because what the software is doing is when a new area of supply or demand is established, an alarm is sounded. Okay, and so what it's doing is it is looking for an area of supply that is brand new, so no more than, price has not traded more than 10 periods beyond it. So this area was established here, and so the alarm will sound if this box is formed within 10 periods after the creation of this area of supply. If it exceeds that, then the alarm will no longer sound. Okay, and this actually goes back to a study that I did of buy and sell zones, Algo Trader, and the supply and demand software, where the areas of supply and demand that were established and visited within about 10 periods, no more than 20, had about an 80% likelihood of working out, which is remarkable. And so this alarm system that I'm building now will inform you when we have an area that has been formed, and it will ensure that you're made aware of the fact that we have a fresh area, so that you can put your entry there, or at least evaluate the area for a trade. So that's a pretty cool feature. Okay, so we have the age of it here. This is a 10. This is the value 10. We don't want price to trade more than 10 periods beyond the area. Then we have this one here, and this is the SD alarm count. And so what it's doing is it'll sound the alarm a maximum of 5 times, and then the alarm will switch off. Okay, and that's because I don't like it when those alarms just they're just ringing constantly all the time. It's super annoying, and it's noisy, and it's very disturbing. And so I think doing it this way just limits the noise. And so this is just something I'm working on now, and I should be done maybe before the weekend. Fingers crossed, early next week. And when I've done that, I'll issue an update, and then we can you guys can get your hands on that. Okay, so that's what I've got there. Maybe we'll even get an alarm here soon. But I've had a lot of people ask me about about the supply and demand software and the buy and the sell zone software and how it's being used. And I've showed I've actually done 2 recent videos about this, but I just want to do that again just so that I can show you, I mean, what the best way to use this software is. Okay, and so what I'm doing is I don't want to see a lot of data. I mean, I'm not looking at a lot. If we go back, I've got 39. I mean, that's okay. It's not a lot, but it gives me more data. And if you go zoom out once more, so it looks like this, and then you have plenty of data. And when I say plenty, I mean plenty in that you can see the trend, you can see some historical levels that have been formed, and so you have enough data here on which to base a trading decision. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm dragging these onto the chart, these symbols one at a time. And I like the 4-hour chart. That's my personal favorite. And I'm just waiting for the software to load. And if I see something that I like, then I simply snip it on. We've got this one here, which I preferred, so I turned it on and I moved it from here to here. Does it mean that this one won't work? It doesn't, but I just prefer the one higher above. I just go to the next one, and then that looks pretty sideways, doesn't it? Even if you zoom out, I mean, it looks pretty sideways. So we're stuck between the range of this area of supply, parent and child, then we have this area of parent, 4-hour parent demand, and we have this hourly child nested within the 4-hour. And so we're probably going to be trading between the two. In a situation like that, you just want to look for the areas of supply that are at the highs, and you want to be buying at the lows, just around here. Okay, so I'm just going to continue on. I don't like the looks of that so much. We've got this one here. Almost got filled, not quite, but I'm going to leave that in there. And so price will likely wriggle up to that. And I mean, this is an interesting area. And so what I'm doing, if I think it is an interesting area, then I'll just click on the order trading button. I'm just going to go like this so you guys can see. It's going to press this button. It's identified it. And it opens the trade. And so the trade is, the position size is based on my account size plus the risk, so how much I'm willing to risk per trade. Okay, and then we have a risk reward ratio. I can just show you that now so you can see what that looks like here. So okay, so the stop multiplier, so we're taking the area of supply, we're multiplying it by 1.4, and we're taking that value and that's the stop loss. That's where the stop loss is put, and the risk reward is taking this value and it's multiplying the size of that, and then that's where the target would go. Okay, so we have the entry, the stop, and the target just here. Okay, so moving on, we'll go to the next one. It likes this one here, which is nice. This is right at the edge of the sell zone for this area of 4-hour supply. So I like that, and so essentially it thought that this would be a good area to sell at, but because price was in that area for more than one period, it said, okay, we want to go for the deep zone, which I think is a very wise idea. Okay, then we go to the next one. We just click through these, and we have something similar going on here, where we have, this is the hourly chart. So if I go to the hourly chart, you can see that. Okay, so this is a nested hour. You can see the yellow and the white. So this is a nested hourly and a half an hour chart here. And it saw this, how price was up there. We came down, we moved sideways, then we left. I mean, price will very likely not stop here. It'll very likely continue up to here. Okay, and this is based on, watching these levels get traded and tested hundreds and hundreds of times. So I'm thinking the price is going to go above, and the robot said, I think the same thing. And so essentially it just said, we want to put the entry above this, just here. Okay, so go to the next one. It didn't see anything there it liked. That's fine. We'll go to the next one. Keep it super simple. See, it likes this down here. This is a 4-hour area. Price came down. We did not spend a lot of time there, and we went up. We established the buy zone, which is right here. And because we didn't spend a lot of time in the area, it said, well, I want to be buying when price comes back down here, which I think looks like a good idea. And so we'll leave that in there, and we'll go on to the next one. What does it have to say about this? Not a lot. I didn't think so. Not a lot there either. So I'm just going through these one by one. Matter of fact, I can do this now all within about 10 minutes. I can run through all the pairs within about 10 minutes. And I click it on when I see something that I like, or I don't. If I don't see anything, I just move on to the next one. Okay, so that's a really nice way to move through the pairs, move through a lot of pairs, a lot of assets, and get your orders open. Okay, so this is the alarm actually. Demand on the pound Japanese yen. On the 1 hour, on the half an hour. Yeah, I don't see it. It's because the data wasn't loaded and it thought it found something. And so this is one of, actually I was speaking to a friend about this, and this is why I can't get the software to scan all time frames and all assets at the same time, because there will always be assets that are missing historical data, and so we'll get tons and tons of alarms that will be inaccurate. And so this is why I'm only putting alarm on the currently active chart. Okay, going to the next one. Let's see something it likes. Yeah, it did. It had this. Okay, so we had this this hourly area here. We formed this half an hour area just below it. It's just a really nice, nice entry here. So, I mean, it drew this trade I did not take, and price came up to it, and now we're moving away. So that was a beautiful example. But if price was here, this candle here, then this box here would have been whole. So the border of it would have been solid, so it would have been a fresh area. So you just like click on the auto trading button, and then it would have opened the entry here, the stop somewhere up here, and the target somewhere down here. So super easy. Let's see what it has to say here. No, I mean, it likes this, but it thinks that price has traded too much there, which I actually happen to agree with. So on the 30-minute chart, the order will be placed just above price there. If we look here, we had this area here that was formed. Price came down to it, and it went up. Prior to that, we had this area here, which is tested. Price came down to this demand from this supply. Then we had like a bunch of pokey areas in the middle. And a lot of these areas aren't going to work. And that's okay. And the reason it's okay is because, I mean, you're not going to take the ones that are in the middle. You're going to be taking the ones that are, let me see if I can show you what we want to be doing. You want to be kind of marking this price structure off like this. Okay, we're not doing anything in the middle. So all the stuff that's hugging like this, all the stuff that's around here, we're not even going to consider for a second. We're only going to trade the ones that are up here to short and the ones that are down here to buy. Okay, we're not screwing around in the middle here because this is super low probability. And the reason it is because, I mean, if you put an entry to here, let's say we want to sell. Let's say this is the sell zone. We want to sell right here. I mean, price. Let's say our stop is here. This is our position here. Okay, our entry, our stop. I mean, the target. Where's the target go? The target could go here, or it could go here. But you don't know that it's going to go there because the distance from here to here is much smaller than the distance from here to here. Okay, so we're going to trade with the trend. We're also going to get in at these areas that are really low, at the lower edge of this channel, of rather the structure of price. Okay, so we're almost looking at like deviations from the mean here. So we're only selling at really high prices, so maybe one or two times variance from the mean of this asset, and we're going to add that. And so these are the positive variance, 2 times variance. This is just an example. Here we have 2 times variance negated, and we want to be buying down here and selling up here. Super simple. So all the stuff in the middle we wouldn't even consider for a second. Okay, we wouldn't even consider those for a second. Okay, let's keep going. Let's go to this one here. Okay, so when you got something like this, we've got kind of the upper edge here, got the lower edge, we've got it here, and we have the middle is in here. And so this one here we wouldn't take. This one here, yeah, I mean that was, I mean, if you consider, if this was not there yet, then I think you would consider this here. Okay, difficult to say because we're looking now with all of the price. This is another one that would be interesting because it's beyond this line here. This stuff down here is also interesting because it's hugging this line here. Okay, yeah. So let me continue moving on. It likes that one. It's too far away from price, so I won't bother. So let's click onto this. Let me go to the 4-hour chart. See what it says. See, now it's poking into this area here. So looking at this, is that a good one? If we look at this, I mean, we've got like something like this going on. This is kind of the mean. I mean, the stuff in here, it's not good. We're not going to be trading any of that. So this one, no. I mean, I wouldn't take that. At absolute minimum, I would look to go here. Okay, the software is telling us to look here, but I think from around here would be good. And the reason I like that one is because we had an area of demand here, which was tested. Price came down, we distributed on the area, and then we cut through it. Okay, so that would be a very interesting area right there. Okay, that's a very interesting area. We can even zoom in, put a box on it. So you've got something like that. We do 2 times the size, like I do, something like that. That would be an interesting area because this was, you know, the support becomes resistance if you're into supply and demand. Support and resistance trading. Okay, so that would be interesting. And again, it's at the extremes. If we go to this one here, so let's just enable the robot to trade. Okay, it's showing me this because it is the configuration of my chart is actually displaying hourly, 4-hour and daily on the same chart. So if we go to the daily chart, well, then the daily area here is going to be within 10 periods. You'll see it's just here. And so this is telling us, ooh, we have a new area of supply. Indeed we do. So I'm going to click that on. I like that one. I'm going to move the entry. To around here, and I'll leave it at that. Okay, so that was on the money. That's why I was seeing the alarm a moment ago, because it was looking on multiple time frames at the same time. My bad. Okay, so I'll do one more example. Let's do the pound Aussie. So this is kind of all over the place, isn't it? Now we're low. We're very, very low. Okay, so if we just look at this and we go like that, and we just kind of mark this off here and here. We're kind of stuck below this, and there's probably something historically over here. The price is reacting on here, and so the mean is here. That means we're going to buy like around here? No, it doesn't. It means that we're going to be selling here, buying down here. Okay. Okay, good. Another thing that I think that you should be aware of is this, which is super cool. I've actually added, rather built out the dashboard here. So first of all, it tells us Pipnotic buy and sell zones, the account type. This is a demo account, and then it tells us what is the asset strength doing on the monthly chart. Or it's not in a buy zone or a sell zone, which is good. But we are in a downtrend on the monthly, on the weekly, on the daily, and on the 4-hour. We're in an uptrend, and on this time frame, which is the daily, we are in a downtrend. So this one, the daily here, and this one are going to be the same. Okay, and so you can see it's because the histogram is negative here. Okay, and as long as we're negative, then price generally drifts lower. If we're positive, then it generally drifts higher. Okay, and if we are trading beyond this, so beyond the buy and sell zone in the histogram, well then normally it's a good idea to stop here. It's a really good idea to stop buying here. Just going to click this on, let it do. Okay, and so, I mean, this is a really bad time to buy here, okay, and rightfully so. Price turned around and came down. This is a really bad price to continue to sell, and rightfully so, price turned around. And so I'm also paying attention to this because that's just a really good rule. This is a bad place to start to buy when prices are around here. You would have got some trades out of it, but I mean, the general tendency for high prices is for them to go down again. You can't assume that because it's not true. I mean, what's a high price? High prices are relative to the person who's buying them. And so if you got in a really high price and price goes down a little bit for someone who got in early, it's still a very high price, but it's actually quite a low price for the person who paid a premium price for it. And so the whole overextended or a high price or a low price, you can't even talk about that because it doesn't make sense. But what you can do is you can look at prices and how high or low they are relative to historical prices. So here we have a lot of, and this is, oops, we have a lot of, a lot of trading here. Okay, so what would that mean? That means you want to go below that because this is messy. This is value. People are super happy buying and selling from each other all day long. They're buying and sell, and so there's a complete balance in that. Okay, in this period of time, price goes above that, boom, what does it do? It comes back. The same will happen once price goes below this. It's going to come back up, okay, which will often be at the time where the histogram turns negative, and so we're going to get this, and we're going to be moving into some demand or some historically relative low prices, and then this will often cause people to buy or encourage people to buy. But this trade here, will it work out? I don't know. It's not interesting to me as a discretionary trader because of this. So I would definitely be looking lower. So you could do this, or you could even do this. I think this would be the wiser move. And if we have a look at this on the 30-minute chart, maybe we can see, oh wow, I mean, it's very clear. Here you would just go like that. Okay, so we have a super nice base. So here we have a super clear a sell-off in price, a rally, a deeper sell-off, flushing out the longs, their positions, their stops are getting here. We're dumping that liquidity into the market. We're taking price higher, and now we're revisiting these lows. Okay, so yeah, I think if price comes back down to here, which it didn't, I would expect this to happen a little bit earlier. This is the first time it's come back, so maybe we're going to see a reaction there. But I don't think that we're going to get too much of a reaction in here because price is too traded within here. Maybe from the lows, maybe from here. Yeah, maybe from here, but I don't think so. We had actually an order here this morning, but it was early in the morning and the spread was so big that we didn't get filled. We didn't even really get a big reaction there. So I woke up and price was just on the entry and it hadn't filled. Then I closed it out because I wasn't expecting it to hold. If we would have got a nice gap down and a fill and then a little move higher, that would have been good, but I didn't get filled. So price has already been there, so it's going to need to go lower to attract buys. Okay, rambling, going to stop now. But if you have any questions, let me know. And once again, thanks for watching.